me on a Friday night yet.
Imagine this, it's late 2020, the world is in the middle of lockdowns, people are stuck at home, and everyone is scrolling through itch.io, Steam, and Newgrounds looking for something fun to kill time. Out of nowhere, a rhythm game drops that's colorful, stylish, funny, and incredibly catchy. Created by a small group of independent developers known as the Funkin crew, made up of programmer Ninja_Muffin99, artist Phantom Arcade, an animator which I don't know how to say, and musician Kawaii Sprite. The game combined early 2000s flash animation aesthetics with modern entertainment humor. It wasn't just a game, it was an experience that felt like the golden age of Newgrounds had to come back to life. And that wasn't by accident. All 4 of the core developers came out of the Newgrounds community. For years, Newgrounds was the hub for independent creators. It gave the internet classics like Madness Combat, Alien Hominid, Pico's School, and the early work of people who went on to define internet culture. By 2020, Newgrounds wasn't nearly as dominant as it had been in the 2000s, but this new game brought it roaring back into the spotlight. The crazy part? It was free. Anyone could download it and play it instantly, and within a few weeks, it exploded. Memes, songs, mods, you name it, it was everywhere. But fast forward a few years later, and the hype isn't quite the same. People have been asking, what happened to it? Why did one of the biggest indie game explosions of the decade lose momentum? This is Buff Ben, and today, we're getting into what really happened with Friday Night Funkin'. Remember to like and subscribe, and maybe even comment, and let's get into it. When FNF launched in November 2020 on itch.io, nobody expected it to blow up the way it did. It started as a game jam project, but its unique art style, humor, and especially its music turned it into a viral hit. The crew leaned hard into the Newgrounds identity. Each character, from boyfriend and girlfriend to Daddy Dearest and Pico, felt like they belonged in the early 2000s flash cartoon scene. And the music was infectious. Each week's track was memorable. By early 2021, Friday Night Funkin' was already massive. YouTubers like Corey Kenshin, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, and smaller rhythm game creators all picked it up, giving it a second wave of popularity. And then came the modding community. Mods turned FNF into something way bigger than the crew could have ever imagined. Fans added custom characters, songs, weeks, mechanics, even full stories. It wasn't just a game anymore, it was a platform for all players to see. Seeing the popularity, the Funkin' crew decided to expand the game into a full release. In April 2021, they launched a Kickstarter campaign for Friday Night Funkin', the full-ass game. The goal? $60,000. The result? Over $2 million raised. It became one of the most successful video game Kickstarters of all time, fueled by hype, memes, and the promise of more characters, weeks, and features. Fans expected a full-blown game with cutscenes polished and tons of content. But this is where things start to get complicated. After the Kickstarter wrapped up, updates slowed down, which is kind of weird. Instead of frequent builds and small updates, the Funkin' crew shifted their focus to building the massive full game. And that takes time. Making a game with new animations, voice acting, hundreds of songs, and polished mechanics is a lot harder than releasing free updates. Fans, who were used to rapid modding content and the fast pace of internet culture, began to get impatient. Months turned into years. The community carried FNF forward through mods, but the official game was mostly silent outside of small teasers. Ninja_Muffin and others posted development updates occasionally, but progress felt really slow. Some fans started losing hope, and the hype began to fade. And then came the drama. As with many viral games, the community wasn't without its darker moments. Modding teams broke up due to personal disagreements, popular mods were cancelled after the behind-the-scenes conflicts, some creators faced harassment from toxic corners of the fandom, and because the official game wasn't putting out much new content, the spotlight fell even harder on these community dramas. Meanwhile, players started moving on to other viral hits. Among Us, which had already been massive at the time, pulled attention. Poppy Playtime and later Project Playtime soaked up up some of the internet's creepier side. Even smaller games like Pizza Tower got bursts of hype that made people wonder if they were the next FNF. Even though mods like Friday Night Funkin' HD, Entity, and Sonic.exe kept things alive, the lack of major official updates left a hole. Without something new from the crew, the hype cycle could never last forever. So what's the current state of the game? The crew is still working on the full release, which is actually surprising because this is taking way too long. But anyways, they've confirmed that progress is still being made and that the game will eventually come out, but as of now, fans are still waiting, or at least what's left of them. Let's be honest, it's kind of a ghost town in here. The good news is that the modding community never completely died. Even today, new mods keep the game alive, and speedrunners, remixers, and animators continue to pump out FNF related content. In a way, the game never really died, it just slowed down. The difference is that the viral internet fame moves faster than game development. When the full version of Friday Night Funkin' finally drops, it could very well spark another explosion. But for now, it sits in some kind of limbo, still loved, still remembered, but not as talked about as it once was. So, what did we learn? That Friday Night Funkin' is a story of lightning in a bottle. A small indie project turned into one of the biggest internet phenomenons of the 2020s. It showed how much people love rhythm games, how powerful a modding community can be, and how nostalgia for the Newgrounds era could thrive in a new generation. But it's also a story of how hard it is to keep up with the hype when development takes years. The Funkin' crew is still at work, and when the full game arrives, it might just remind the internet why it fell in love with boyfriend, girlfriend, and the rest of the funky class in the first place. Friday Night Funkin' stands as one of the biggest indie success stories of 2020, an unfinished legend that couldn't keep up with the massive hype it created. This is what truly happened to Friday Night Funkin'. And this is the end of the video. Remember to like and subscribe, and keep a peace of mind that these videos are my opinions and I believe that they are true. Don't go butchering me in the comments just because they're not yours. That's just kind of rude, honestly. Anyways, this is Buff Ben. Comment, and I will see you guys next time. See ya.
Luces bajas, nadie fala. Tus ojos gritan lo que tu boca cala. Silencio tan solo.